Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I'm going to be doing my first Planetside 2 gun review. I'll talk a little bit about the basic stats in Planetside 2. I'm getting a lot of the numbers from simthic.com. They have a forum section where one of their members put together an excellent spreadsheet based on the actual game data files they're able to extract. If you're interested in digging around the spreadsheet on your own and figuring out gun stats on your own, I'm going to link it in the video description. I'm also going to link simthic.com in the video description, as they have awesome gun stats for games like Battlefield 3, Medal of Honor, and Call of Duty. Alright, so let's take a look at the VX6-7. First things first is damage models. How much damage does this gun do per shot? At what range does it do what damage? And what does that actually mean overall? So most damage models in this game are based on 1,000 hit points. You have 500 health hit points and 500 shield hit points. The Infiltrator is the only class that doesn't have this much because it has 400 shield hit points, making it a total of 900 hit points. So the Infiltrator is going to drop usually a shot faster than any other class out there. Okay, so the VX6-7 does 143 damage per shot. This means that in close quarters, it's going to take 7 shots to drop any opponent who isn't an Infiltrator. It also shoots at 800 rounds per minute, meaning that you can drop somebody in about 0.45 seconds if you land all your shots. So this thing is very capable of killing in a short period of time. You will drop heavies even with their shields activated extremely fast. It will surprise you. Now for ranged engagements, the carbine drops all the way off to 100 damage per shot at 115 meters away. This means that you're going to need on average about 10 shots to take down an opponent at far ranges. Combined with the recoil of this gun and just the general accuracy, it's not really meant for long range engagements. It also has a slightly slower projectile velocity than most other weapons out there at 465 meters per second. This means that if there's somebody far away running around, you're going to need to lead a little bit more with this gun than you will your average assault rifle. Now in terms of recoil, the VX6-7 has some of the higher recoil compared to other Vanu carbines out there. It has a 0.3 recoil multiplier to vertical and the right. So basically, recoil multipliers in Planetside are just read a little bit differently if you're used to my Battlefield 3 gun reviews. Basically, it's saying it pulls at a 0.3 ratio vertically and horizontally to the right. So it's not going to pull to the left very much. It doesn't have very much pull on the left, but it is going to pull up and to the right, and it's got a pretty high pull ratio, especially compared to its rate of fire. So it's going to be harder to control than most of the other carbines out there, but if you're used to shooters like Battlefield 3, I would say the recoil management on this gun is relatively easy to deal with. As for the reload time with the VX6-7, it kind of goes right down the middle if you're comparing all the factions carbines together. It has a short reload of 2.15 seconds and a long reload of 2.7 seconds. If you're not familiar with short reload and long reload differences, a short reload is a reload that is done before firing off all your ammunition. So if you still have a bullet left in the chamber and you hit the reload, you don't have to ready the gun for firing again. You don't have to rechamber a shot. However, if you fire off all your ammunition, in this gun it would be 30 rounds, and then you hit the reload button, you have to rechamber a round, which is going to take a little bit longer. So it's going to take you 2.7 seconds if you fire off all your ammo. If you're a TR player, that's something to consider and feel pretty happy about, because most of your carbines have 40 rounds in a magazine as opposed to the 30 that other factions do. So chances are you're going to be reloading before spending all your ammo, and you can have that short reload time most of the time. Okay, so let's get down to the meat of the VX6-7. Why do I like this carbine so much? Why do I prefer it over all the other Vanu carbines? The first part of this answer is it has an incredibly high rate of fire. It used to have the fastest rate of fire, but then the Serpent came out, which has an 845 round per minute rate of fire, which is slightly faster than this gun. However, the Serpent has a much longer reload time. Its short reload time is 2.65 seconds, but its long reload time is 3.8 seconds. And since you're almost going all the way through your magazine with these fast firing carbines, 3.8 second reload time on the Serpent is going to be a death sentence in most close quarter situations. But aside from the rate of fire, the main primary reason why the VX6-7 is my favorite carbine is because its cone of fire when firing from the hip is so small, it's more accurate than pistols. So basically the VX6-7 has the smallest cone of fire for hip firing out of any gun in the game aside from the Lasher. However, the Lasher is kind of a weird gun in itself, an oddity. So for the most part, traditional firing weapons, the VX6-7 has the smallest cone of fire. If you combine that with a laser sight, even the advanced laser sight, upgrading it further, this thing is so darn accurate when shooting from the hip, you won't really need to aim down the sights for most medium range engagements. Now, why is this important? Well, aiming down the sights, for one, narrows your field of view, and two, it takes time. So to look down the sights of your weapon, you gotta spend some time. Not to mention, because of the odd code of Planetside, sometimes when you're running around and going over rubble or something like that, aiming down sights, your vision starts to bob a lot more, making it harder to aim down sights. Having something that's incredibly accurate and reliable for hipfire situations is so amazingly good for close quarters. So if you pair this gun with the light assault, which is somebody who can get in there up close and personal, move around, jump around, all that kind of stuff, who can take advantage of a hipfire weapon, the VX6-7 becomes unbelievably good. Now, most of the time when I was using this weapon and loving it, I was only using the first level of the laser sight. If you upgrade this gun to have the next level, the advanced laser sight, it becomes so damn accurate when firing from the hip. It's unbelievable, it's unreal, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's really awesome to just see that little crosshair in the center of your screen shrink down to minuscule sizes. So ultimately, if you combine a weapon that has extremely fast time to kill, which the VX6-7 has at an 800 round per minute rate of fire, with a gun that doesn't have to aim down sights, meaning it's going to take you less time to be in a stance or position ready to start firing on your opponent, you have a gun that has an incredibly fast killing ability in close quarter combat. It's still decent at medium range as well. You can see from a lot of these clips I'm able to drop people at medium range with relative ease. If you're going for ultimately medium range engagements, you might not want the VX6-7, but if you want something that's definitely capable at medium range and amazing in close quarters, then the VX6-7 is the way to go. If you're playing light assault as Vanu, I honestly can't recommend any other gun than the VX6-7. This thing is an absolute beast. Now, if you go out and you buy the VX6-7, it's good. It's very good stock without any attachments on there. Ultimately, if you can upgrade it with the laser sight and then the advanced laser sight, the hipfire of this thing will become unreal. Much better than pistol hipfire. As far as sights for this gun, the standard sight is perfectly fine. If you like reflex sight, go ahead and stick it on there. You're not going to really want anything that has a higher magnification than that, just because the accuracy of this weapon becomes less accurate and harder to control at any sort of range where you're going to need a magnification scope. As far as using this gun with the engineer class, it's debatable. If you're an engineer that likes to get real close in there with the combat, just right in your opponent's face, then it could be very useful. Otherwise, you might want to think about using a carbine that's a little bit more medium range, like the Solstice. So that pretty much wraps it up for my review on the VX6-7. If you're at all wondering what kind of carbine you might want to upgrade to with the Vanu, I can say with assurance that if you get the VX6-7, you are not going to be disappointed. This is probably one of the better ones out there. As far as other weapon reviews go, I'm not just going to cover Vanu, but I will primarily be covering Vanu in the start, and as I upgrade my other factions and get more unlocks for other faction weapons and try them out more, I'll be covering both TR and NC. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to check out those links to simthic.com, both the gun chart and just simthic.com in general. The forums are great, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.